The case. One day that stands out in my memory is when I got home from work and saw that the small rental next door had new tenants. The male was standing outside, but I just got a glimpse of the young woman entering the house. He appeared youthful as well, and I discovered later that he was 20 years old. He was thin yet fairly tall. He was frowning at me, for whatever reason. I shook hands and said, "I'm John, with my new neighbor. Welcome to the neighborhood." "Hi, I'm Bob," he said, maintaining his scowl. "You people really do dress like fruit," he said, scowling at my clothing. I cast a downward glance. I just so happened to pair my suit with a light pink blouse that day. I periodically switched things up by wearing blue, yellow, or pink shirts instead of my normal white ones. "My people, you mean bankers," he said, gaze as if it was clear. "Oh, I'm not," he interrupted me. "I'm not prejudiced," he replied, "but the Bible says sodomy is a sin. All you gays are big sinners." I stared at him in shock. Who the hell spews such kind of thing out of the blue? I chose to go along for the chuckles. "Try it before you judge it," I murmured, placing my hand on his arm. His gaze shifted from looking up at me to looking down at my hand on him and back up again. Without saying anything else, he stormed into his residence. I murmured, laughing to myself, "What a jerk." When I returned home for lunch the following day, I noticed my new neighbor's wife putting groceries out of her car. I thought, holy hell. My neighbor's wife was quite attractive. She was tall and perhaps too thin for her own good. Her blonde hair reached her shoulders, and her face was classically beautiful. Gorgeous small upturned nose, high cheekbones, and full pink lips. Her cold blue eyes gleamed. I yelled, "Let me help," and hurriedly picked up the final 4 grocery bags. With a cheery smile, she said, "Thanks." I went into the kitchen after her swaying butt. I said, "I'm John," as she was putting the goods away. "I met your husband yesterday." She smiled again and said, "I'm Tracy," but then she paused. "Bob told me that you're gay." I began, "I'm not," but she cut me off. "I feel sorry for you people because you're all going to burn in hell. It's so sad," she said. I had to give her credit. She sounded sincere. How could I answer that? Really? What? I chose to pull off my practical joke from the previous day. "A tiger cannot change its spots," I uttered in the most sly, flashy, gay voice I could muster. I apologized to any homosexual males that my caricature may have embarrassed. Tracy surprised me by snatching an embrace out of the blue. Her eyes were full with tears as she looked up. "I hate to think of anyone burning in hell forever," she cried. God, I thought, what a crazy girl this is. Yet an extremely hot nut job. She was great against my chest, and her weeping face added to her already sensually gorgeous appearance. She felt soft. Trying to calm her down, I said, "Don't cry, honey. I'll be fine." "But that you won't be," she cried. "Your concern is touching, Tracy. If I had a girl like you, I probably wouldn't be gay at all." She instantly stopped crying and raised her gaze to meet mine. With optimism, "Do you mean that, John?" she inquired. She had made a sudden emotional 180-degree turn and was positively ecstatic, saying, "We can do one of those intervention things and save your soul." Intervention? I don't think. I'll talk to Bob about it when he gets home from work. "Have dinner with us. Be here at 6:30, okay?" She interjected once again. "Dinner sounds good, but," she exclaimed, "I'm so excited." Before I could say anything more, she kissed my cheek and hurried me out the door. I've never done an intervention before. I spent the rest of the workday daydreaming about my hot, crazy neighbor Tracy, and as a result, I accomplished nothing at all. I also considered her intervention plan and feared what crazy things she and her naive husband would come up with to try to win me over. The directions stated, the intervention must not be ended before a full 3 months of dating treatments. Stopping midway may cause the subject to commit suicide. Do not interrupt the process for any reason after it has begun. I printed copies for Bob and Tracy and smiled as I read over my ridiculous invention again. I knocked on my neighbor's front door at 6:30 that evening. I bought some slim pants and a pink polo shirt for the trip home. "Hi, John," Tracy said with a decided lack of excitement as she opened the door for me. Dinner was waiting for me as she led me into the dining room. Bob sat there wearing his trademark frown. I disregarded him. I questioned Tracy, "What's wrong?" She let out a sigh. "We want to help you with an intervention, to make you straight, but we don't understand how. The information we found is psychological mumbo-jumbo." I choked back a giggle. "Oh," I replied. "I was curious about this whole intervention thing, so I looked around on the internet and found this. It explains the process pretty simply. Very informative. Copies of the absurd guaranteed effective Christian method for saving the souls of homo deviants were what I gave them. Bonding. The intervention includes bonding." Bob blurted out as soon as he started reading. "Well, duh, Bob," his spouse answered. "How else are you going to turn a gay man straight?" Bob stammered, "It's just, I don't know," helplessly. "How will we find a woman to do it?" Tracy questioned him. "What do you mean find a woman?" She sounded really offended. "This is our intervention, Bob." "I'll do it," Bob exclaimed. "What?" "No, you will not." Leaping to her feet, Tracy loomed over her seated spouse. Angry, she screamed, "Bob Tower, how selfish are you? A man's eternal soul is at stake. I'm not going to let him burn." Bob opened and closed his mouth a few times but said nothing. "You want to sleep with him?" He then claimed. She cried out, I do not. He's old and gay. She was angry now, if she was angry before. With a finger pressed to his face, she commanded, you take that back. To be clear, I wasn't elderly, and I definitely wasn't queer. I was 40 years old and in fantastic shape thanks to 4 weekly gym sessions. I wasn't married because I liked the range of ladies that I had relationships with. Well, let's get back to our tale. Bob is such a fool, so I was impressed when he managed to calm down. He said, I'm sorry, in apology, but you can't be serious about dating John. The stunning girl took a seat once more. I'm serious, of course, she said, coolly. This says the woman must be committed to the cause, and that's what I am. Committed. Are you committed to doing God's work, Bob? Are you? I was astonished to see Bob appear defeated. I am, but this is too much. Tracy's large eyes filled with tears. Please, honey, you know what I did with that teacher. This is my chance to make up for that by using my looks for good instead of evil. I was shocked to learn that the girl had a sinister secret in her history and inquired, Teacher? With a nod, Tracy let the tears fall down her cheeks. When I was an 18-year-old senior in high school, I was a conceited little monster, she told me. I knew I was pretty and men couldn't take their eyes off me. I had a crush on my math teacher, so I decided to seduce him. One day after class, I got him alone and kissed him. In no time, he had me bent over his desk and was doing it to me from behind. But we hardly got started when another teacher walked in on us. My crush was fired and his wife divorced him. I realized how evil I was and devoted myself to the church. Whoa, I exclaimed. I pictured her hunched down, saying, that's, so sad. She gave another nod and returned her focus to Bob. She started to cry even more. Please let me do this, honey, she begged. I need a chance to do good and John needs saving. Please. Bob was one of those men who understands that a woman's tears are her greatest weapon. Okay, he said, looking completely defeated. His spouse sprung up to give him a kiss and hug. She turned to face me and said, thank you, honey. When can we go on our first date, John? I sat there dumbfounded. What on earth was going on? I assumed they would laugh at me for trying my guaranteed effective Christian method scam and see right through it. I'm not sure I'm capable of doing this, I answered. Please, John, the woman pleaded. Let me help you. God must have guided us to move in next to you for this reason. Don't try to deny his will. What was I meant to say now? This got way out of control. I breathed deeply. If this is God's divine plan, then who am I to say no? Let's go out tomorrow night. If we're going to be dating 3 nights a week, then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday suit me. Bob scowled and Tracy smiled. I went on a date with the stunning married woman who lived next door, and that was that. On Wednesday evening, I dressed in my finest black suit and went to the next door to fetch Tracy. I frowned as I gave her a hard look as she opened the door. She was dressed in one of her formless, ankle-length gowns. This one was really awful, a light green color. I pouted, putting my hands on my hips and doing best flashy gay man impression, saying, no, girlfriend. I cannot be seen with you wearing that. With a flush, Tracy hung her head. It's all I have. All of my dresses look like this, John. I gave a head shake. Tisk, tisk. It's horrid, simply horrid, Bob said, standing behind his wife. Her dress looks fine. With dramatic eyes, I rolled them. Straight men are ignorant of fashion, I remarked, grasping Tracy's hand. Come along, sweetie. We walked to my car together, me holding her hand. She said, I'm sorry about how I look, John. I extended my hand to give her a pat. Don't you worry about a thing, girlfriend. I'll fix it. Fix it. How? We're going shopping. Her eyes widened. I don't think Bob will like that. I knew he wouldn't. I pouted and said to her, if you're not going to take our date seriously, I don't see why I should go out with you at all. But you have to, she said, sounding worried. I'm going to save your soul. I think I should take you back home right now. No, please, the woman pleaded. Take me shopping. I'll wear whatever you want. I promise. I made a fake sigh of reluctance. All right, Missy, but tonight you are my dress-up doll. Is that clear? Yes, John. I promise. Tracy was dubious, but I went to a boutique downtown and let her in. The saleswoman approached us right away. She was my age, curvaceous and quite a bit shorter than Tracy. Her business-like black knee-length gown flowed elegantly over her voluptuous figure. She said, hello, I'm Margaret, and grinned at me. May I help you? I am taking my friend out for dinner and dancing tonight, I responded, and she needs an appropriate dress. Margaret flinched as she saw Tracy's dress. She turned to face me. I'm sure we can help you, sir. Where are you taking her? Having already concluded that I was the one in command. The Dove for dinner and the Royale for dancing after. The salesperson's brows went up. She gave us a few possibilities and said, nice. She'll need something chic. I saw that she held out a dark red velvet dress and added, velvet is very trendy at the moment. I'm in love with it, I said. Tracy grumbled, I can't wear that. Silence, I chastised her. She nodded, flushed. Margaret found the way my date and I interacted funny. With a sly smile, she led a reluctant Tracy into the changing area. The salesperson pushed Tracy out of the dressing room so I could see her a few minutes later. Under my eyes, the tall, thin girl flushed red and shifted restlessly. I said, beautiful, and it really was. The silky velvet gown suited her well, falling elegantly over her voluptuous bust, slender waist, and bouncy posterior. For Tracy, the fundamentalist, it was hemmed just above the knee, not daring at all, but yet uncomfortable. It's too short, she commented, pulling at the skirt. I corrected her, saying, it's not short at all. Stop squirming. Stand up straight. I told the girl, and she did. The salesperson informed me she needs stockings. Tracy definitely needed help with her pallid legs, and her bra and panties are utilitarian at best. Shall I find something more appropriate for a sophisticated date? Yes, please, I said, appreciating the woman's initiative. After hurrying out, she reappeared a few minutes later sporting a garter belt set, thong underwear, and a lace sheer black bra. She also brought thigh-high gray stockings that were smoky, and she held everything up for my inspection. I gave a nod. Yes, very nice. Tracy was hustled back into the dressing room by Margaret. Tracy left the room a few minutes later, looking ashamed. In stockings, her beautiful, slender legs looked fantastic. John, please don't make me wear this underwear, the woman begged. It's riding up my behind. I cautioned Tracy to be quiet. Do you want me to take you home? She gave a little head shake. Sorry, I'll be good. Margaret stifled a giggle and gave me a bag with the plain dress and pajamas Tracy had brought from home. She needs shoes. Her black flats do not go with this outfit. I said, definitely, and we dragged Tracy, still wearing her stocking feet, to the shoe area. Do you know how to walk in heels? I responded. The girl nodded shyly. I used to wear my mom's heels when I was little. Margaret discovered shoes that matched the dress velvet tone. Tracy could walk with only a slight wobble thanks to their modest 3-inch heels. She looks terrific from the neck down, but she needs makeup. Do you have time for a quick makeover? The saleswoman inquired after giving Tracy a brief glance. Margaret led us to the makeup counter after I nodded, where another salesperson gave Tracy a makeover and some coaching. I was drawn away by Margaret while they were occupied. She's married, she said, smiling wickedly. Naturally, Tracy's rings were visible, and mine weren't. I smiled back and nodded. I introduced her to her as my next-door neighbor. It's a long story. Her eyes widened. Your neighbor, you are bad. And her husband knows all about it, I continued. It's really cute, she said. I like your style. When you get tired of playing with her, give me a call, she said, passing me her card. Tracy added mascara to lengthen her lashes, soft smoky gray eyeshadow, and vibrant red lipstick to complete her look. She had transformed from an unpolished diamond to a breathtakingly gorgeous one. You look gorgeous, from head to toe, I said, taking her hand in mine. She flushed all the time, but it was obvious that my praises thrilled her. Naturally, Tracy wore her new clothes right out of the store after I paid for everything. Hand in hand, we strolled into the parking lot. With hesitation, do I really look okay, John? She inquired. Better than okay. Are you fishing for compliments? She answered, no, but I assumed she was. She needed a great deal of comfort. I don't look like a tramp. I came to a standstill and met her eyes. You look beautiful and sophisticated and lovely. I could have bought you a mini skirt and a translucent blouse, but I wouldn't do that to you. I want you to look fabulous and classy, girlfriend, and you do. Tracy grinned. Thank you. I used the valet parking service when I drove to the restaurant. When Tracy swiveled in her seat and got out of the car, one of the young male valets opened the passenger door and saw her long legs for the first time. I whispered in her ear as she grasped my arm, the cute valet loves your legs. With a red flush, Tracy objected, saying, John, you shouldn't say things like that. When we looked back at the valet, we saw that he was focusing on my date's posterior. What did you do to get his attention? She writhed. I didn't do anything. When I swung my legs out, my dress inched up and he saw my stocking tops. That's all. I found it amusing how the little thing upset the gullible girl. Maybe you'll get another chance to flash him on the way out, I said. She had a forlorn expression and hung her lovely head. Why are you teasing me, John? I felt like a jerk now. I hugged her when I stopped just before we went inside the restaurant. I'm sorry, Tracy. I got carried away. I won't tease you anymore. Forgive me. She nodded, but her head hung there. I kissed both of her cheeks and said, thank you. You're a wonderful, giving girl and I don't deserve your help. When I kissed Tracy in public, she gasped in shock. But she swiftly moved past it and gave a modest smile. You do deserve my help, John. You're a nice man even if you are a meanie sometimes. Now who's teasing? I objected in jest. As we entered, she leaned in close to me and giggled. The cuisine was refined, but the restaurant had a laid-back vibe. Even though I was paying, Tracy was intimidated by the high rates. She gave me a life tale while we had a delicious dinner. She was raised in poverty in a little East Tennessee hill town. Really bad. Despite the fact that her family didn't have much, she was spoiled as an only child. I was a terrible child, she said. I doubt that. That is accurate. I was a prick. And at 18, I turned into a horror once I understood that men wanted me. Before I seduced my teacher, I had affairs with 2 married men, she confided in me. I smiled. You were a very bad girl. Awful, she concurred. I'm just glad I finally have a way to use these for a good cause. She smiled and gave a little twitch of her torso. How did you get together with Bob? I inquired, trying not to stare like a moron. Since they were an odd couple, I had to ask questions. Bob was the only person at the church to greet me after the teacher fiasco. We were married a couple months after spending time together. Bob was a cunning or fortunate man. I assumed Bob must be fortunate after meeting him. We strolled to a sophisticated nightclub with a live band for dancing after dinner. For around 30 minutes, we joyfully swayed to fast music. When a slow song eventually started playing on the DJ, I pushed the attractive girl up against me. Together, we moved gently and organically. I added quietly, "So, 2 married men and your math teacher. You like older men?" She grinned and blushed as she glanced up into my eyes. "Some older men, if they're fit and attractive," she replied. "I guess that leaves me out." Her hand stroked my back as her smile grew. Teasingly, "I don't know, John," she said. "You seem fit and you're kinda hot," I remarked as I drew her closer to me, "just kinda hot." Slightly, the minx chuckled. "Women would be all over you if you weren't gay," she finally conceded. "Thank you." With hesitation, "John, are you getting hard?" she inquired. My eyebrows went up. "It's surprising, isn't it?" "Playing my gay part," I answered. "I mean, dancing with you is so different from dancing with the brutes I'm normally with." She tentatively brushed her entire body against me while biting her bottom lip. She begged, "Don't think about those men. Think about me." "I'll try," I said in response. It felt amazing to feel her thin, slender form writhing against mine. We continued to dance in silence for a few more minutes. Tracy made every effort to prevent my thoughts from straying. She squirmed against me. She said, "I think you're getting harder." I could feel her pride in her voice. I provocatively twitched my eyebrows and said, "Maybe we should go home and take advantage of this development." Despite her first hesitation, the stunning girl said, "I guess we should." "Tracy, I'm understanding if you're having second thoughts. Avoid doing anything that you don't want to." "No, but I'd like to." Simply put, I never imagined cheating on Bob. "You aren't betraying him." I pointed out that he granted his permission and is fully aware of it. "You're accurate. Let's head out," she said. After paying our payment, we quickly left the club. Throughout the brief ride to my house, Tracy remained silent. It was clear she was anxious. As soon as I entered the home, I took her head in my hands and gave her a lengthy kiss on the lips. I said quietly, "Thank you for helping me." I then gave her another kiss. "John, you're really welcome. The best thing I've ever done with my life is save you." You would think it would put me in a bad mood, and it kind of did. Tracy, though, was too attractive to resist. She was essential to me. After giving her another kiss, I said, "I want to see the beautiful body that God gave you." She remained motionless while I extended my arm and gradually pulled down the dress's zipper. Her lips hung open as her eyes closed. I pushed the dress past her hips and off her shoulders. It dropped to her feet. I looked at Tracy and remarked, "Oh, honey, you're lovely." I tried not to come across as overly gay. In her stockings, garter belt, thong, and lace black bra, she looked sultry. Tracy reddened as she opened her eyes. Her hands automatically covered her cleavage, but she lowered them gradually. I started to remove my outfit. I wildly threw my clothing around the living room like I was in a strip show. She relaxed with a giggle. Upon reaching my boxer briefs, I inquired, "On or off?" She chewed her bottom lip and gave me a perfunctory glance. "Yes, for a short while at least," she answered. That was all right. I didn't want to rush and startle her. With great hesitation, the girl reached out and touched my hard spots with her fingertips. "You're much stronger than Bob," she said. Her nose expanded and her eyes widened. Working out must be something we have in common, I thought. I extended my hand to stroke her round stomach. Tracy grinned and nodded. I guided her to the couch. She bent excitedly to plant a kiss. It was joyous. Like teenage girls, we necked. It was simple to fall into a passionate kissing session. We explored with our hands, getting to know one another. Tracy gasped, "John," as she broke the kiss. "You seem really interested in it." Who knew that girls were so much fun? I cheated on my partner. Seems like you're enjoying yourself too. Her blush returned, but she grinned. "It's really exciting to help you," she said. "It also helps that you're quite kind. Very attractive as well. I'm grateful. My dear, you are dazzling." Beneath me, she squirmed. She didn't require my instruction to look. Her big eyes were fixed on the sensual scene. "It's so much," she growled. "Too much?" We settled down gradually, and I let go of her. Tracy was perplexed. She admitted, "I never came like that before." I gave her a kiss. "God's rewarding you for being so good to me." She smiled. "I suppose so. What is your emotional state? Do you still identify as gay?" I laughed. Sweetheart, I will not give up on guys until I have taken more than one roll in the hay. I've spent a lot of time in this bed being made fun of." "No, John, keep that out of your mind. Pay attention to me." With a dramatic sigh, I said, "I'll try. Perhaps we ought to try it again. To put you in the proper state of mind, you know." I gave a shrug. "All right, if you so indicate. To get me back up, though, you'll have to suck it." Tracy appeared frightened. "It's not something I do. Never." She gave a lovely head shake. She kissed me quickly and chuckled. I never knew bonding could be so much fun. She was beaming with happiness. "We're both learning new things from this intervention," I said. "Wonderful new things. Give me a little while to recover and we'll try more wonderful things." She scowled. I am unable to. I should be heading home now. After giving me another short kiss, she hurried to take a shower in the bathroom. When I joined her in the shower, I startled her, but she quickly started washing me while I washed her. Her hands rubbed my muscles tenderly. She said, "You're so strong," in a low, seductive voice. Although I was confident we would soon return to bed, the girl had a strong will. She left her gorgeous new garments with me and put on her formless long dress. I embraced her tightly in my powerful arms at the door and gave her several kisses. She laughed and said, "I have to go, John," but she wasn't attempting to flee. When I eventually let her go, she shot out the door. She turned to face me, waved a little, then turned away. Tracy called quite early the following morning. She said, "Come over for breakfast," without saying anything else. "We want to talk about the intervention." Even though she had a bright, animated voice, I couldn't help but wonder what was going on. I inquired, "Is everything okay?" "That's right," she told me. "John, don't worry. Bob is not angry. He needs to get to work shortly, so hurry." I hurried over the next door. Bob did not try to hit me, even though he wasn't exactly a happy camper. "Tracy says the intervention is off to a good start," he stated. "Yes, I believe so," I replied. Tracy grinned and flushed. All right. I want to confirm that this is being done correctly." "No, worries?" he inquired. "Well, I felt really good last night," I answered. However, my thoughts went back to all the times I had woken up next to a cute guy when I was alone in my bed. I was unable to resist. Bob said, "You're a weak-willed backslider," with a grimace. "Don't be mean, Bob." Tracy slapped his arm. "John is doing his hardest." I moaned loudly, if only I didn't wake up alone. The treatment would have a better chance to stick. Tracy instantly bit into the bait. "You don't need to wake up by yourself." She said, "I'll stay the night with you." Bob said, "Hey, wait a minute." Tracy gave him another arm slap. Without a doubt, she told Bob, "We can't do this halfway. I'm spending the night at John's after our dates. I'm excited about sleepovers," I said, clapping my hands. Bob grimaced and rolled his eyes. Tracy gave me a hug and grinned. I had lunch at home on Friday. Tracy emerged from her home before I reached my front door and greeted me with a "Hi, John." The beautiful girl came to join me right away on my front steps. "Hi, Tracy," I answered. She had on black yoga pants and a pink sports bra. She flushed as she saw that I was staring at her from head to toe. "I was working out," she said. "I don't usually wear this in public, but since you're gay and all, I thought it was okay." "No wonder you're in such great shape," she told me. "The body is a temple of the Holy Spirit," with great joy. Then she talked about something else. "What are we doing on our date tonight?" "We'd remain in," I had planned. "We can watch something on Netflix while I make dinner," I said. My main wish was to pass the night soundly asleep. "Oh, okay. You sound disappointed." With shyness, she shrugged. "Simply put, I haven't gone out much in my life. It was enjoyable. I made the decision to attempt to be a less egotistical jerk." "All right, then let's get outside. Would you like to go dancing one more?" With pleasure, she nodded. "But this time, may we go somewhere more laid back? I feel uneasy in those upscale settings." "I give you orders as you wish. I know exactly where you should go. Put on a t-shirt and pants," I advised her. "I have no t-shirts or jeans. Our church's girls exclusively wear long dresses. Denim pants and t-shirts are a must for any American. It is, I believe, a law. Before supper, we're going shopping." She stated, "You shouldn't keep buying me things, John," yet she appeared to find the concept appealing. "My date, my rules," I informed her. "I'll pick you up at 6 for an evening of shopping, very casual dining and country dancing." I promptly went next door to pick up Tracy at 6 p.m. Bob opened the door for me and gave me a grudging hi. "Hi, Bob. How is your evening going?" I answered lustfully. Tracy quickly approached her husband and kissed him goodbye before he had a chance to respond. "Goodbye, Bob." After telling him, "See you in the morning," she virtually skipped out the door and into my arms. Do God's work. As we made our way to my car, Bob yelled out to us, "I will, honey," Tracy answered back. "Bye." Soon after, we were heading to the mall in my car. She said to me, "Being with you is relaxing, John." "Why's that?" "Straight males can't take their eyes off of me. They're always hitting on me, and they have one-track minds. It wears me out. But I don't have to worry about all of that since you're gay. Furthermore, you seem to like me for who I am rather than how I seem. It's quite pleasant." If only she were aware. "I do think you're cute. I think you might be the most truly kind and giving person I've ever met. I enjoy being with you." All of which was accurate. She reached over to give me a cheek kiss. Finding Tracy a pair of jeans that fit took an hour. I gave a head shake. "I'll assist you in putting on clothes," I said. "You agreed to be my dress-up doll, remember?" She said, "What if you're caught in here?" I gave a shrug. "They'll eject me. Not a huge concern." I had no trouble leaving the changing room covertly. We had dinner at a burger establishment after that. As we crossed the parking lot, Tracy complained, "These jeans are really tight. That is how they should fit together. They give your ass a gorgeous appearance." She twisted to try to see at her own butt and said, "Really? Obviously. That is the reason I chose them." "All right, then," she gave in. "But it's too thin of a bra. My daughters are playing about." Her large chest did jiggle like jello under her cheap new bra with every motion she made. "They are not swaying." A slight wobble is okay. I halted and inquired, girlfriend, what's wrong? I know you're bothered by something. After pausing briefly, she exclaimed, I don't want to look trashy. No, you don't. You'll see a lot of girls tonight, I promise. Most of them dressed just like you, tight jeans and t-shirts. She chewed the inside of her lower lip. It seems strange. Long dresses are what I'm used to. The sports bra and leggings you were wearing at lunchtime were a lot more revealing than what you're wearing now, I said. Tracy reddened. I only wear those at home. And in front of me. A timid grin appeared on her face. Yes, I guess so. I attempted to kiss her after encircling her thin waist with my arms. With a scowl, she turned to face John. Someone is going to notice. Do you know a lot of people here? I inquired. They had recently relocated from far out in the sticks to the city. No, she said. I tried again, and she kissed me back after a little second of hesitation. She tightened her arms around my neck. Deliciously fatty cuisine was offered at the burger joint. As I expected, Tracy was relieved to see that most of the other girls were dressed in jeans and t-shirts. I saw her glancing at them. Tracy had a great time at the dancing hall. I adored it. It's in a large, vault-like steel building. There was only a stage, 2 bars, a large dance floor, and a few weak lights. There was no atmosphere. A large gathering continued to dance and drink as country music played. We spent hundreds of dance floor circles performing the Texas two-step and the Cotton Eye Joe since we were both familiar with them. Additionally, we had enough knowledge to mimic some of the line dances. Of course, Tracy attracted a lot of attention. Of all the young women present, she was the sexiest. Furthermore, the fact that she was plainly younger than me could have given the young bucks the idea to start in. However, my captivating companion remained glued at my side, her gaze fixed intently on me. I have to admit, that was rather uplifting for my ego. I would occasionally remember to act in a gay way in order to keep up the lie. Oh my God, I cried out. We were standing apart late at night, taking a break after dancing for so long. This is the most fun night I've ever had, exclaimed Tracy. Me too, I replied. I could feel her cozying up to me and hearing her mutter, I'm ready to go home. She poked her tongue playfully in my ear. She attempted to appear as pristine as driven snow when I shot her a lengthy glance. I then raised her and placed her over my shoulder. Tracy smiled, squealed, and planted a kick. She pleaded, put me down, John. Everybody in the room was observing us. I didn't disappoint her till we got to my car. With an animal savagery, she pushed herself at me right away and kissed me. That was nice, I snarled. Her enthusiasm was infectious. I'm impressed by your strength, she exclaimed. You throw me around like I weigh nothing. I'll keep that in mind. We leaped into our car and drove quickly home. Tracy stepped out of the car at my house, and I grabbed her and flung her over my shoulder once more. John, screamed she. She squealed all the way inside the house as her hands pounded my back and her legs kicked. I got her up on her feet inside the home. You're a brute, she yelled, trying to look angry, but her smile revealed her true feelings. Just for that I'm not going to touch you tonight. I approached her and asked, was that on the menu? She moved backward till her back was to the wall. Indeed, since you enjoyed it so much the last time, and I want to surpass your boyfriends in this. I approached her directly and placed my large hands on her hips. She took my knob and put it in her mouth, remembering she had a job to complete too. I gave her an inner thigh kiss, causing her to wriggle and meow like a kitten. I then ran a wide, flat tongue across her lips. She nearly leaped out of her skin when I reached her clit. We dozed off, tired. Tracy nuzzled up to my side to wake me up at 9. She said, good morning, quite gently. Morning. I gave her a kiss. Did you ever think you'd wake up beside a girl? She inquired. No, but I like it. She smiled. Tell me why. Because you're lovely. Give a kiss. Gentle. Envelope. Kiss and you smell good. Tracy chuckled. I doubt I smell good right now. I sniffed for a while. You have a wonderful scent. Tracy in its purest form. She grinned and flushed. Many thanks, John. You're really skilled at straight bonding already. She astonished me by admitting, I wish Bob was half as good as you. You're an inspiration. My personal lovely angel of divine help. After a short while, Tracy was in my kitchen, wearing nothing but an apron. She made pancakes. Tracy turned to look at me. John, just for a moment, be serious. We ought to look for you additional women to go out with since you're progressing so well. I sulkily exclaimed, are you trying to get rid of me, girlfriend? With my hands on my hips. No, she cried back, startled by my response. It appears that you are. Our dates are scheduled to last for 3 months. I can phone a lot of men if I want to go out with someone else. No, was her reply. Ignore what I said. For the next 3 months, you'll go out with me and me alone. Not a single man. All right, I answered after a protracted wait. All right, you mean well, honey, but please don't press too hard. I'm not ready to talk about getting married or with other ladies. She said, I'm sorry, and planted a kiss on me. Avoid pushing any further. I swear. Tracy was a busy bee after I left her, and I had to finish some things at work that morning when I got home. My bed was made up with clean, folded laundry, and the entire house had been vacuumed. My comment, I wanted to finish all of this in one part, but the ending is a tad longer, so I will fit that in part 2. I will try to upload that as a sub if you like this so far, and I will see you there.